Hello, welcome back to my channel Cheating Stories 911. Story 1. I felt like he was out to kill me. Husband allegedly stormed an airbend with a metal bat after his wife joined a co-worker inside. This isn't my story, but at one time I could have been the AP with the busted skull. I've told my story here. I was traveling consultant in the medical for 12 years and had many affairs and turned a new leaf since my divorce that wasn't connected to infidelity. I think this serves a warning to us wayward partners that the game we play can have life-changing consequences. Edit. They were married December 20th, and she met her AP in Jan. A month before he caught her, they went to a Deftones concert and the pictures portray a happy newlywed couple. Link to the story at the bottom. A Florida man is facing multiple charges including attempted murder after allegedly barging into a vacation rental with a metal baseball bat and beating a man who he believed had been in bed with his wife. John Dimig, 33, is accused of assaulting a man who had reportedly invited Dimig's wife, Christy Barbato, back to his airbend rental in Lake Worth Beach. The victim, whose name was redacted from the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office probable cause affidavit reviewed by Law and Crime, told investigators he was in town from Arizona working as a travel CD technician, and that he and Barbato were co-workers. The victim told investigators that, while he was in the bed with Barbato, he heard the front door of the residence open. The affidavit says, he stated that he then got up to see who it was. The victim stated that when he got to the living room, he saw a male running at him with a bat. The victim further advised that the male charged at him and pinned him to the ground and hit him 3 times with an aluminum bat. Barbato told investigators that she had been laying down in bed in the bedroom of the apartment with her coworker, whom she had known since January of 2023. At around 10 o'clock p.m. on June 17th, Barbato stated that she heard the front door open, at which time she observed her husband, whom she identified as John Dimig, enter the front door of the apartment with an aluminum bat. The affidavit says, Barbato stated that upon entering the apartment, Dimig started swinging the bat at the victim, whom she saw fall to the floor with blood coming from his head. Barbato stated that Dimig did not say anything to either party before swinging the bat, but that afterwards he said something to the effect of "Don't come near my F-wife again," before leaving the apartment through the front door. Barbato apparently intervened in the attack, pulling Dimig off the victim. I felt like he was out to kill me. The victim told deputies when asked what he thought would have happened if Barbato hadn't stopped her husband. The attack appears to have been a bloody one, according to the affidavit. Upon arrival, I observed the living room of the apartment was covered in blood, with streaks leading into the bedroom located at the north part of the apartment. The document said, in the bedroom, I observed a white male, later identified as the victim, laying on his back holding a towel on the top of his head, which was bleeding heavily. Part of the incident was captured on video belonging to the airbend property owner. According to the affidavit, the video showed a male walk into the residence while holding a bat and closing the door behind him shortly before 10 o'clock p.m. Moments later, screaming could be heard coming from inside the residence, with a female voice screaming, "John, stop. He's bleeding." The affidavit said, in a separate video from around that time, the male can be heard screaming "Piece of S. F you," and is then seen leaving the residence and walking towards the road. After Barbato identified her husband as the attacker, investigators went to the home she shared with Dimig, the affidavit says. There, investigators located Dimig and recovered clothing that appeared to have blood on it, as well as an aluminum bat. I observed the bat and found that there were small hairs embedded in the larger portion of the bat, which is usually used to hit with. The affidavit says, Dimig reportedly denied carrying out the attack, telling investigators that he hadn't gone to Lake Worth Beach that day. He also denied ever striking anyone with the bat and refused to consent to a search of his phone records. Comment 1. Can't say I feel bad for them, tpa. not the coworker in bed with a married woman. You reap what you sow. Not the wife for doing something that could get others hurt. BC she knew exactly who her husband was and what he'd do. Explaining that at work is going to be tough. Reply. She actually blamed her husband for her affair and recently posted a new profile picture on her FB looking like she doesn't have a care in the world, not for her husband, not for her AP, not for her kids. A true narcissist. Next comment. Shit disgusting, looked her up as well and found the potential AP. I'm sure if when the job step in she'll do a whole 180. Reply. I'm surprised she still had a job. I'm sure her hospital has policies against this. Next comment. Shit she has removed all of the comments from her Facebook page and all of her posts have been scrubbed. All of the wedding pictures are still up though. With her in her black wedding dress. Who wouldn't see that marriage was doomed to fail? Reply. I feel really bad for their kids. Father in jail, mother classless, ho. This story is so known throughout this small area she's gonna have to move. I'd be surprised if she has any married friends left. Every friend with a boyfriend or husband would be like, no, we're not going to that thing she's at. I don't want her to try something on you. Story 2. 6 months later, the shocking truth. I found out that my partner, my fiancé even, no longer engaged, cheated on me last Christmas. The girl put me through absolute hell. Not just what she did, but how she did it. If you want to read my story, I post it in January and I go into detail. But for now, let me cover the basics. Together 10 years. Engaged a long time. 2 baby girls, twins from my previous relationship, a daughter from her previous relationship. So 7 of us in total. But a really strong family unit for most of the 10 years we spent together. We lost our house after our landlord needed to sell. I spent my time sorting out our new home while she spent hers with our friends. Christmas came and out of the blue she ended our relationship, no reason given. 3 days later she was in our friend's bed. Since found out they had been secretly meeting up for a few months prior to her ending things with me. For reference, I discovered the affair once when it was coming to an end. She didn't tell me. So, just over 6 months since I found everything out. The first month was the absolute worst. My head was all over the place. I loved that girl with every inch of my being, yet I hated her guts for what she did to our family. She explained everything. She was remorseful, begged me to give her another chance. I did. Second month came and I was still angry. Couldn't get the thoughts out of my head. Not just what happened, but also how it happened. Sometimes that's worse. She was growing stronger with me, yet I still felt like I didn't know what I wanted. 3 months came and I felt exactly the same. Anger, love, confusion, and the thoughts kept entering my mind. Her touching him. Talking about me and how awful I was to her. I wasn't in any way, but in my head this is what she was saying. Today exactly the same. It doesn't get easier. I've not had a day off from this emotional roller coaster since the day I found out. Every single day. Do I love her? I honestly do. Do I want things to work? I honestly do. Can I see myself with her forever? Not in any way. The most stupid thing can happen and it all comes flooding down on me. Example, a memory came up on Facebook of the day I proposed. Pictures of us at the castle I took her to. She hugged me and kissed me and held me close. All I could think of was the day I bought the ring. The excitement. The love of my life becoming my fiancé. I was so in love. If only I had known that the ring she placed on her finger would one day touch another man's face. Would be placed all over his F-king body and further down. My blood boils just typing this. And it's these things that hurt you more than anything else. They both said they hadn't gone all the way, but they did have one drunken night where they tried, but he was too drunk to perform. I don't believe that at all, but to be honest, it doesn't matter. The time they spent laughing behind my back, or kissing, or talking shit about me on texts. This is worse than them sleeping together, and this is what takes over my mind. We're not, and will never be, the same as we were. I'll never truly open up to her and give her all of me ever again. I can't. It's not possible for me to, even if I wanted to. So my advice to anyone in the god-awful situation of discovering your partner has cheated is to talk a week on your own. Don't make any rash decisions. Take time to reflect and know what you actually want and not what you think you want. The sad thing is, I know my girl needed this to happen to understand how much she needed me. But the problem is, now she's done it, I'll never be what she needs. I know that one day it'll all be too much and I'll walk. She knows this too. So all we're doing is delaying the inevitable. I don't mean to upset anyone with this final thought, but I can honestly say that it would have probably been easier to cope with if she'd passed away than it is that she cheated. That sounds harsh, but at least I'd have time to grieve and not be overrun by my emotions. TLDR, once they've cheated, your life will never be the same again. My best advice is to walk away. You can always walk back if it's strong enough to do so. Comment 1. If it were me, I would look at her today and tell her exactly how I am feeling. The anger, sadness, all of my emotions. Then the bomb, I think I need to explore what you had to help me heal. I have a date tonight and need to see if this is what I want anymore. Then, when she starts sobbing, I would get in the shower and get ready. Then after I am dressed and make an overnight bag. When she cries and says how sorry she is, I would ask her, were you sorry when you sent those texts about me? Were you sorry when you went over to his house and did a lot more than what you admit to? Were you sorry when you did all those things with him you did over and over again? Then I would walk out and enjoy my date. I would do this after downloading every dating app and lining a few women up. But I am Miop, and you are not me. Have to admit I would do the same. Even if I didn't meet up with another man, he would think I did. Comment 2. Up. Now you understand why people tell you to never take back a cheater. Please, for the love of God, walk away now. You're only killing yourself slowly every day you have to look at this disgusting woman. Trust me, it's not worth it. She isn't worth it. Stop delaying the inevitable and end things now before you are completely a shell of your former self. She chose to cheat and betray you in the worst possible way. Nobody who does this deserves a second chance. Comment 3. You can't say you love someone just because you are indecisive. You are not staying with her because you love her. Nor are you torturing yourself because you love her. You both are selfishly staying together, and the kids will grow up assuming that the cold, unloving feeling you have for your is what a relationship looks like. Story 3. BF cheated while I was pregnant. BF is 35 and I am 28. I got pregnant in July 2022 and had my baby in April 2023, and from February he was sleeping with this girl. Before and after as well, he would flirt with, exchange pics with people and make plans to meet up but wouldn't go. I feel so crushed and confused because we have such a great relationship. He's never done anything but show me love and support, and now with the baby he's been just as attentive. When I asked why, he said it wasn't being selfish. I was always away at work and he felt resentful and alone. For months we saw each other like an HR a day, and he liked the attention. He says he loves me and that he stopped sleeping with her when he saw what all he'd lose, but he was still talking to her. Still making plans, even if they all got canceled, from February until when I found out. I found out on a Monday, and they were talking about meeting up for breakfast that Thursday. He says he was gonna cancel again, but what to think. I want to believe he loves me because it's what his words and actions have always shown me, but I can't with what they were saying. Interspersed with sting and messages about how I and baby are his priority, and taking about how he doesn't want to hurt me were messages like, all I can do is give you my love. She doesn't get that. I feel responsible, but I've never thought of that as love. Listen. She'll be back to work again at the end of July. Right now she's here 24/7. We can meet after work, but I need to keep most of the grease on me. I feel so satisfied when we're done. Like I was born to f you. I think about what it'd be like to date you. And so on. Complimenting her body all the time and getting graphic with S-sting, which I never get from him. And the fling dates too. The dates for their hookups lines up with times I was texting him from work sick of from the pregnancy. Sexting on Christmas and my birthday. Sexting while I was in the hospital after the C-section mixed in between pics of our newborn. I feel so disgusted and confused. I hate myself, don't want to look in the mirror. Confused about whether he lied to her or is currently lying to me. Don't know how I can trust that he really loves me and isn't just here for the baby. I've always been insecure in relationships and thought partners were cheating, even though they never were, and I'd end up sabotaging the relationships. I've struggled forever to really feel worthy of love, so now after being in a relationship without those doubts where I felt safe and loved only to have this happen is a slap to the face that I decay how to begin to come back from. I want to try to work things out, but I've never dealt with this before. Our relationship was so perfect and he's turning into a great father, yet he had this whole side piece for months without me knowing and while still acting normally, so if I can trust myself anymore. My heart and guts say to believe him, especially after all our long talks now since I found out, but I can't shake this worthless feeling and feeling like he doesn't really love me. Like he loves me because of the baby but isn't in love with me anymore, he's in love with her. I already made him remove Snap and other similar apps and made it clear that if they talk again as even friends that I'm gone. Like what she wants or if she's stranded somewhere, no more. I know his phone password too, but I don't want to police it. I'm really trying to keep the mentality of, if I'm giving him a chance, I have to actually give him a chance. If that makes sense. How did you start moving past what happened? If you stayed with your partner, what did it take before the relationship started feeling secure again? What did you do for yourself to get your confidence back? Comment 1. I'm usually really neutral when it comes to advice giving on these subs, but all I really want to do is go full big sister on this dude, and I don't even know him. Does he realize the amount of psychological pain this type of behavior can cause a person who has gone through pregnancy, C-section, and birth? Remind yourself that this isn't about you, how you look, who you are as a person. This is about him being a selfish, deadbeat idiot. Look after yourself and your child. Put you both first. Give yourself time. Hugs. I'm usually really neutral when it comes to advice giving on these subs, but all I really want to do is go full big sister on this dude, and I don't even know him. Does he realize the amount of psychological pain this type of behavior can cause a person who has gone through pregnancy, C-section, and birth? Remind yourself that this isn't about you, how you look, who you are as a person. This is about him being a selfish, deadbeat idiot. Look after yourself and your child. Put you both first. Give yourself time. Hugs. Comment 2. If you live together, make him leave and move out. I would text her and tell him that he is now hers and to keep him away from me. He has a whole relationship with her and it won't ever stop. Hold him accountable and tell him that you are done with him. They're still actively involved with each other and you are getting leftovers. He can be a part-time dad. The messages and SX are enough to end things forever. I personally would set yourself free from his lying, cheating ways. He doesn't truly love you, and the messages prove it. Break things off with him and tell him to leave you alone and only talk to you through text messages. Make him pay child support. He's a POS. Thank you for listening to us. Don't get used to watching Cheating Stories 911 every day.